Welcome, dear children, to today's topic. Today, we are discussing the second application of dimensional analysis. It is to derive a relationship between different physical quantities. So, what method we adopt here is the method of dimensions. So, first of all, we have to be thorough with the physical quantities involved. That means when we are going to derive a physical relation, we should know on which all other quantities that particular quantity depends. With that knowledge, we will be finding out the relationship between different physical quantities. Let's discuss this with examples. The first question is, the force acting on a body in circular motion depends on its mass, speed of motion and radius of circular path along which it moves. Derive an expression for this force acting on the body by the method of dimensions. How to deduce the relations among physical quantities we are discussing with the help of an example. So, the force acting on a body which is in circular motion depends on mass of the body, its speed and radius of the circular path. So, from this information, we can write an approximate proportionality relation, that is F is proportional to m raised to a, v raised to b, r raised to c, because we don't know what is the power of that proportionality. Okay, so from that saying itself, that is force depends on mass, speed and radius, we can write proportional to mvr, but we don't know what is the power of m, v and r. So we set arbitrary powers as a, b and c. So F proportional to m raised to a, v raised to b, r raised to c. So that is the first step. Now in the next step, remove that proportionality with a constant. So F is equal to k m raised to a, v raised to b, r raised to c. Here we choose this k to be dimensionless constant. Okay, it's not having any dimensions. So we call that as equation 1. Now taking dimensions on either side of the equation. That means in equation 1, we take dimensions on either side. So what do we have? On left hand side it is 4. So we have ml t raised to minus 2. And coming to right hand side, k is not having any dimension. So no dimensions there. Now m raised to a. So here m raised to a. V raised to b. So dimensional expression of v is t raised to minus 1 raised to b. Okay. Now r raised to c. R means radius, that is length. So L raised to c. Now just to simplify this right hand side. So m raised to a, L, here L raised to b is there, L raised to c also is there. So L raised to b plus c and t raised to minus b. So minus t raised to minus 1 raised to b, it becomes t raised to minus b. So this is the right hand side. So left hand side is already there. So as per the principle of homogeneity of dimensions, the physical quantities, the fundamental quantities should have the same dimensions on either side. That means the powers of m, l and t should be same on either side. So we can equate the powers of m, l and n, m, l and t on either side. So when we equate, this a will be equal to what? 1. So a is equal to 1. Here m raised to a, here m means that power is 1. Now next L raised to b plus c here. B plus c on left hand side, L raised to 1. So b plus c equal to 1. Now here t raised to minus b here minus 2. So minus b equal to minus 2. So that gives b equal to 2. A equal to 1. From that we can calculate C using this equation. We can calculate C to be minus 1. So after getting the values of A, B and C, substitute those values in this equation, equation 1. So we have K, F is equal to K, M raised to 1, V raised to 2, R raised to minus 1. We just substituted the values of A, B and C. So R raised to minus 1 can be written as what? By R, divided by R. So the equation becomes F is equal to K M V square by R. So that is the required relation. Next is an example question, that is example 217. Consider a simple pendulum having a bob attached to a string that oscillates under the action of the force of gravity. Suppose that the period of oscillation of the simple pendulum depends on its length L, mass of the bob m, and acceleration due to gravity g. Derive the expression for its time period using the method of dimensions. So in this example, simple pendulum is mentioned. A simple pendulum consists of a string which is fixed at a rigid support, and the free end of the string is connected to a massive bob. Now if we take the bob to one side and leave, this bob will be moving like this. That's what we mean by oscillations of the simple pendulum. What do you mean by one oscillation? If it starts from one extreme position, goes to the other and comes back to this position, that is what we mean by one oscillation. So time taken to complete one oscillation is called as time period, represented by capital letter T. So in the question, what is it is mentioned is time period is proportional to length of the pendulum. So this is what is length of the pendulum, mass of the bob m, and acceleration due to gravity g. So T depends on these three factors. Okay, so let's begin with our steps. So we can first write the proportionality, that is T is proportional to L raised to A, M raised to B, G raised to C. So T is equal to the dimensionless constant into L raised to A, M raised to B, G raised to C. We call that as equation 1. Now taking dimensions on either side. On either side we have to take dimension. So on left hand side it is time period. It is actually T only. So as I told you, it is by convention we write as in terms of ml and t. So we write it as m raised to 0, L raised to 0, t. Okay. Now coming to right hand side, k is dimensionless. So no dimensional expression. Then L raised to A. So L raised to A. M raised to B. So M raised to B. Here G raised to C. G is nothing but acceleration. So LT raised to minus 2 whole raised to C. Now just expand and simplify this right hand side. So here first I am writing M raised to B, MLT that order. So M raised to B. Then L raised to, here L raised to A is there, here L raised to C is there. So L raised to A plus C. Then T raised to minus 2C. So T raised to minus 2 whole raised to C it is. So it becomes T raised to minus 2C. So we have both left hand side and right hand side. Now what we need to do is, as per the principle of homogeneity of dimension, the powers of ml and t on either side should be same. So we can equate the powers of ml and t. So we have b is equal to what? 0. That is our first value. Then a plus c equal to 0. So a plus c equal to 0. Then here minus 2c equal to 1. Minus 2c equal to 1 means c equal to what? Minus half. So that value we got. B raised to 0 we got. C raised to minus half we got. The c raised to minus half you substitute in this equation. So from this A will be equal to minus C. So it will be 1 by 2. So A is 1 by 2, C is minus 1 by 2 and B is 0. Now substitute these values in equation 1. In this equation, substitute the values of A, B and C. So we will get T is equal to K L raised to 1 by 2, M raised to 0, G raised to minus 1 by 2. So M raised to 0 means what? 1. So no need of writing that term there again. Next step. So then L raised to half. We know X raised to half is root X. X raised to minus half is what? 1 by root X. Just apply these things you have studied in lower classes. So L raised to half means root L. G raised to minus half means what? 1 by root G. Now just simplify it and write. So we have time period is equal to K into root of L by G. So this is the expression for time period of simple pendulum. The actual equation is T equal to 2 pi into root of L by G. So somewhat same equations. As I said, the real constants we will not come to know in the method of dimensions. Even if we discussed the applications of dimensional analysis, there are limitations to the method of dimensions. Let's discuss. First one, the method does not give any information about dimensionless constant. So during our checking the correctness and derivation, we came across such a fact. Second point, it fails when a physical quantity depends on more than 3 physical quantities. And the third point, it fails when a physical quantity is the sum or difference of 2 or more physical quantities. The equations which we derived were in the form of product. So only in that form we will be getting with the help of dimensional analysis. It's very difficult to get the form of sum or difference. So that is a drawback. Next, it fails to derive relationships which involve trigonometric, logarithmic or exponential functions. So trigonometric functions you are familiar with, no? That is sine theta, cos theta. So if such functions are involved in a particular equation, such an information we will not get from the method of dimensions. Now coming to the last one, sometimes it is difficult to identify the factors on which the physical quantity depends. That is a fact. We should know all the quantities on which the physical quantity depends. It is very difficult actually. So these are the limitations of dimensional analysis. So only this much for today. Thank you.